Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to look at the author pages for the upcoming Canvas starter site. There's quite a bit to unpack in this, as well as some exciting news as far as a new plugin that will be available for starter site customers, licensed and included. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. From the MyListing Club website, that's mylisting.club. We're going to scroll down the homepage just a little bit and click on this MyListing starter sites card. We're then going to click Explore, and then we're going to go into the Canvas card. What we're looking for here is, scrolling down, is the build notes section. We're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to expand the authors section. We're going to run through this together in this video. A little bit of narrative, a little bit of news, and then look at these templates and how they are built and how they look, that sort of thing. By default, MyListing's author page template is very basic, and you must rely on code customizations to adjust the design and add functionality. So let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to set both of these templates to draft mode, the light and the dark mode version of the author template. I'm going to set to draft mode so we can see how the default author page looks for my listing. Okay, so let's see here. Let's duplicate this. So this is what you get by default with my listing. There are some issues with it. I'll get to that here in a second. But like I said, as you can see, like I said, and as you can see, there's basic, very basic design. If I actually take this even further and I go into WP code box and I toggle off, if I toggle off the listing previews CSS package, let's look at this even more. So let's break this down again. We'll do another duplicate tab. So this is what you get out of the box. It's even less design. So what we're looking at here is the listing feeds, obviously, and you can see the design when we apply the listing previews CSS package for the Canvas starter site. We see that things get a little bit cleaned up, some new design features and whatnot. Okay, so I want to point that out. It's even more basic. The MyListing author template is even more basic out of the box than that. That's what I'm trying to show you. Okay, we'll go back here to what this author page would look like if you did nothing else other than apply the CSS package from the Canvas starter site for the listing previews. Okay, so this is what you get. So like I say in the build notes, I did something about these issues, and now we have the full power and flexibility of Elementor to build author pages any way we want without requiring custom code. Aside from the design and the added functionality, which I'll show you in a second, I ensured that the author pages are 100% dynamic, okay? So there's nothing you need to do unless you just want to adjust the design of the template. But speaking of those issues, a couple of things I noticed. One is there's an incorrect message up here at the top. I have not reached out to support. I'm not going to use this for the starter site. We're going to use a custom template. It's the whole point of this video. But if you're using this, you might want to talk to them about this. It says you don't have any active listings yet. All of these listings here are clearly active. So that message is a bug, okay? Why would you say you don't have any active listings yet, but then it shows you have 56? So, okay. The other thing is, this is a minor thing, but why would you have a direct message button there when the direct message is right there in the header? I guess maybe if you didn't have the direct messaging in the header, then that would make sense. But I feel like you're doubling up there. The other thing is like the limitations again, unless you know how to custom code like CSS or just custom development, PHP, whatever, JavaScript, your only option here is to just roll with what they give you. You can't do anything. There's no widget that you can edit or anything like that with Elementor to take care of this. You got to do code. The other thing is there's just the about section is very limiting. You have to do a bunch of workarounds to be able to display additional data for the profile and things like that. It's just very basic and very limiting, as I said. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna put our template back on published mode, if I can find it here. Okay, where are we at here? Author page, light mode. Here we go. So let's go ahead and put this back into published mode. And we'll refresh our screen. Okay, there we go. So let's work through this. First of all, I want to mention the dynamic content for Elementor aspect. Dynamic content for Elementor is a really high-powered, well-regarded plugin that is now licensed and included with starter sites. It has a $75 annual value alone just in that plugin, but it plays a massive role in displaying dynamic data for the author pages. I've barely scratched the surface of what this powerful plugin can do. This plugin opens up many design and functionality capabilities that MyListing website owners can use throughout their entire website. So I'm going to really quickly show you that. I'll do a separate video on this this plugin later, but I wanted to show you all of the features that this is going to unlock for you guys if you purchase the starter site. Like I said, this plugin alone is worth $75 a year. Tons of dynamic lists that you can do, dynamic archives. You can create menus, dynamic views. You can add to favorites options. You can do some stuff with maps, whether you're a Google Maps user or OpenStreetMaps. You can do some stuff with PDFs. You can do all kinds of things with content. There's just so much stuff in here. Animated text. There's also design aspects in here. Animated text, parallax. You see all this stuff here. There's just lots and lots of stuff in here. Really advanced developer stuff. If you want to pull content from one part of the site into another, if you want to add raw PHP code to your site, just really super powerful stuff. WooCommerce, dynamic products, all kinds of other stuff there, all kinds of stuff with ACF, which, as you know, or may not know, MyListing uses ACF at the core, advanced custom fields. So a lot of options there. Some SVG options, a bunch of options with posts, whether you wanted to insert breadcrumbs. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. By default, when you get the starter site, I've only turned on the widgets that I'm using to build the stuff, which I believe the only one I'm using is dynamic posts, which I'll show you in a second. And the reason you do that is for performance reasons. You don't want to enable all of these widgets. So if you get your hands on this plugin one way or another, I'd recommend you just deactivate all of the extensions and only enable the ones that you want. I'm excited to try all kinds of things here. The dynamic animations, definitely the dynamic visibility is a huge piece on its own. I mean, that's its own plugin in itself. Tooltips, all kinds of, look at all these things you can do with the Elementor forms. There's just tons of stuff here. Looking at the dynamic tags, this is where really powerful stuff comes in. This allows you to display all kinds of data based on all kinds of things. The user meta, WooCommerce information, taxonomy and terms, content, advanced custom fields. There's just so much stuff in here. Okay, you can do some stuff with some page scrolling, and then something called tracker header. I have not looked into that piece yet, but this thing is a massive plugin, and it really sets your site up to be dynamic. There's just I barely scratched the surface. As you saw, like, this is the only thing that I've done with this particular starter site. Okay, so I'm going to point that out. All right, let's get into the building of this. The dynamic elements for this are the author name. That comes from this comes from the author box widget. So that's going to automatically pull in that author information. I'm adding 3 buttons here that link to these sections down below. It's kind of like a menu there. The author bio is going to dynamically pull in from the author info. So that's whatever they put into their profile. Okay. Scrolling on down, this is where the dynamic posts come in. We're going to look at this more in depth here in a second. And then listings down here. This is a really cool feature. I mean, you saw the before and after with that author page. Now you have full control over the design of these in here. Okay, and pagination and things like that. But that pagination, to be fair, that pagination was on the default MyListing template, but you have more control over pagination here. Okay, so like I said, the author name and photo is dynamic. The author bio, the posts, what else? And then the listings. Yeah, so all of that is dynamic. So there's literally nothing that you need to do unless you just want to enhance the design, add more features to display. But out of the box, it's just going to automatically build for you for each author. It's going to be all set. Okay, let's look here at this dynamic post. Again, this comes from the plugin, that dynamic content for Elementor that is included and licensed. What I did was I simply just added that widget. It's an Elementor widget that you'll have available to you. I just dropped that on the page, and for the style here, the item style, I chose template. And because I had already built a template for the loop items to display, basically it designs how these are built. It defines how these are built. That's what I'm trying to say, is the loop item. So if we go over here to our templates, and let's see, I'll just look for this exact loop item to show you. So it's this, there's a light and a dark mode, but I chose this light mode version. Pull in because Canvas by default is going to show in light mode. Okay, so this is a newer feature of Elementor. It allows you to build your posts, I'll call them postcards or whatever you want to call them, these individual grids. That design comes from what's called a loop item, and that is a newer feature, as I said, of Elementor. And you can design these individual aspects of this, and that's how those get pulled into these cards. Okay, it's called a loop item, and these are called loops. All right. So what I did on the author page was, again, I dropped that widget in here. I chose template, and then I chose my loop item. So that's what creates this loop and makes all of these postcards look the way that they do. Okay. And then you have all kinds of things that you can do here. You can display it a ton of different ways. I chose the default, which is grid. Once you choose grid, you've got all kinds of options there. There's just a ton of stuff you can do. For the query, I chose to query by the post type. That's pretty obvious. So any published post will come in there. For the query filter, I chose author. Okay, this is one of the features. It's why they call it the dynamic post widget. So I'm choosing to pull in posts from the author that is the current author of this page. So I am the author of this page. I am saying with this, using the setting, I'm going to pull in my posts into my author page. So that's how that magic happens there, is that setting right there. Okay, and you have other options too. You can select a manual author, current author, or even a current user. And then there's all kinds of styling things you can do in here for the grid and other things. And there's, of course, the advanced tab that you're used to with Elementor. So that's how that's built. It's not difficult at all to do. Okay, so moving on down, it's just that you'll just see this warning here. That's just saying that it's only going to display on the front end. So again, I dumped in the dynamic post widget again, same widget. Instead of choosing template this time, I chose the default option, and then I styled these manually. So I came in here with the grid, and I chose how many columns I wanted to do. And then when you do the individual items, you're kind of basically building a loop item, so to speak. So you're building the title of the listing, you're adding in the category, and then we're adding in the region, and then the button, right? So if we look here at the items, sorry, my mouse is not working for some reason. I think I'm clicking too fast. There we go. So we're building the title, and then the terms. That's what gives us the category and the region, and then the read more is the button here, and you have full control over everything, the wording of the button, the styling of the button, all kinds of advanced things. If you choose the terms, you can drop author information. It just unlocks so many doors that you can do here, but this is what I chose. And then with the grid, I did a little bit of a design. And you can choose, like, is it masonry? Is it a blog, like this funky blog looking layout there? You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. But this is what I came up with, and I put a border. I think it's within the style tab. Yeah, I did a little background color on these cards, and then I did this border color that you saw there. So you have free range to design these however it is that you want. All right. So super cool stuff. I think that's about it that I need to show you. Yeah, that's about it. We're going to look at the dark mode next, and then we're going to finish up with just how this looks on mobile. Okay. So here's the dark mode version. These are placeholder images. If you watched any of the videos that I've done or been in the community, the club community, and heard me talk about this, there's going to be placeholder images in here. These are obviously light mode looking images. I do have some dark mode images that I show in other videos, but instead of just going in here and manually putting in dark images so it looks better for every video, I just decided to roll with the light version because that's the default. So this look, in other words. But once you drop an image in here, it's going to look perfect. It's going to look awesome. So just want to point that out. All right, so scrolling on down here, everything looks good in dark mode. Let's go ahead and look at mobile. Okay, everything looks good there, and nice look there. Again, these link to the sections. If the mobile is not as important because there's just not that much of a gap. Listings, it should definitely drop down there too. But I think it's just because I'm in the template view instead of the actual page. Let's go ahead and test that out. Okay, so we see here that drops us down into listings. We'll go ahead and test that on mobile. There we go. Yeah, so it's just because I was in the Elementor editor. That's why I did that. Yeah, see, everything looks really good on mobile. Menu anchors work great. Everything looks great. All right, guys, these products are already published, and these templates are available for download, author page light mode and dark mode. If you want to complete the overall solution, look for that loop item categories template from the club. Okay. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you on the next one.